crazy how a show can build you up for 8 weeks straight, only to leave you staring at the credits, speechless. Not because of awe, but because you're wondering what just happened. I'm not gonna lie, I love Gen V. From the moment Marie Moreau's story began, this show felt like lightning in a bottle. Raw, bold, unpredictable. But when that finale dropped, something felt off. The ending wasn't bad, it was hollow. It was the kind of finale that makes you question whether the show you loved for 7 episodes was even the same show that wrapped up in episode 8. Tonight we're breaking it all down, not to hate, but to understand. Because maybe the real disappointment isn't just that Godolkin died, it's how and why it happened. Gen V Season 2 started like a storm. We were promised mystery, rebellion, and an entirely new corner of the boys' universe. A show that would push its characters, especially Marie, to the edge. Each episode peeled back a layer. The corruption in Godolkin University, the horrifying truth about the woods, and the psychological grip of Thomas Godolkin, a man we never even fully saw, yet his presence was everywhere. He was the puppet master, the unseen hand that molded young soups into soldiers, the monster behind the curriculum. Every whisper, every secret experiment, every terrified glance pointed back to him. And so the show did what good mysteries do. It built anticipation. It made us want to meet this man, to finally face the darkness that had been shaping the students' lives since episode 1. And then came the finale. Marie finds herself standing face to face with the man who started it all, Thomas Godolkin. The atmosphere is heavy, the tension unbearable. We expect a war, a reckoning, maybe even a moral standoff. Instead, it happens in seconds. Marie kills Godolkin, just like that. On paper, it's poetic. The student destroying her master, the blood manipulator turning her trauma into strength. But in execution, it felt rushed. The show had been teasing this confrontation all season, and when it finally came, it ended before it even began. And what's worse, it erased all the possibilities. We never got to see what a mind like Godolkin's could do unleashed in the world. The man who perfected manipulation, who could turn young soups into weapons. Imagine if he had turned that brilliance toward Homelander himself. What if he had tried to control Marie, to pit her against Homelander? What if he had found a way to bend Homelander's mind? Or worse, become him? The possibilities were endless. A Godolkin versus Homelander war could have been one of the most chilling battles in the boys' universe. Two gods of manipulation, one physical, one psychological, facing off over the future of Vought. But we'll never see that, because instead of letting him evolve into the monster the season built him to be, the show just cut him down. And with that one choice, they didn't just kill a character, they killed the future tension he could have brought to this entire universe. It's not just that Godolkin died, it's how quickly he was erased from the story. For 8 episodes, the show made him feel like the ultimate boss fight. The one man too powerful, too protected, too connected to Vought to ever fall. But when Marie ended him, it didn't feel like triumph. It felt like a skipped chapter. The writers gave us mystery, but they never gave us closure. And that's what stings the most. Because we didn't want Godolkin to live. We wanted him to matter. Instead, we got an ending that seemed scared to breathe, afraid to slow down long enough for its own weight to land. But here's where it gets deeper, because maybe Marie's decision to kill Godolkin wasn't just a plot point. It was a statement. Marie's entire arc is built on trauma, being punished for her powers, losing her parents, being treated like an experiment. Godolkin represented the entire system that broke her. When she killed him, she wasn't just ending a man, she was burning down an institution. The blood on her hands symbolized freedom, rebellion, and vengeance. In that moment, she wasn't the boy's version of a hero, she was its consequence. That's the part that works. The symbolism, the poetic justice. But even then, the way it was handled still left us asking why now? Why so soon? Why so clean? Because this felt like the kind of moment you save for a season 3 finale, not the middle of an expanding universe. And that's the heartbreaking part. Marie finally got her revenge, but we, the fans, didn't get our release. You can feel it everywhere. In the reactions, the reviews, the tone online. Fans are frustrated, not because they hate Gen V, but because they believed in Gen V. We saw something that could have rivaled The Boys itself. A show that felt sharper, more emotional, more character-driven, but when that finale aired, it felt like we were robbed of the catharsis we were promised. People wanted to see Godolkin exposed, not erased. They wanted to understand his psychology, not watch him disappear. They wanted to see the students truly rebel, not just survive. And the worst part? The pacing made it all feel smaller. What should have been a moment that shook Vought to its core ended up feeling like another cliffhanger. One that came too early and ended too soon. Fans aren't angry because the show failed. They're angry because it almost didn't. To be fair, the finale wasn't without power. Marie's performance was raw. Jordan's loyalty and pain felt real. The visual storytelling, that mix of chaos and heartbreak, reminded us why Gen V is still one of the boldest shows on TV. And even in its flaws, the finale gave us questions worth asking. Who fills the void Godolkin left? How far will Vought go to erase what happened? And how will Marie's actions echo into The Boys Season 5? The answers might not have landed yet, but the seeds are definitely planted. This ending doesn't exist in a vacuum. Godolkin's death, Marie's choices, and the fallout at the university will ripple into The Boys timeline. In many ways, Gen V's finale feels like the moment before the storm. Homelander's world is tightening, Vought is losing control, and the line between hero and experiment has officially blurred. The tragedy of Gen V is that its students think they've won, but Vought isn't dead. It's watching, waiting, learning from their mistakes. So maybe that's the point. Maybe the disappointment we feel is intentional, because real rebellion isn't satisfying. It's messy, incomplete, and full of loss. And just when you think it's over, the power shift begins. After Godolkin's death, the final scenes don't just fade to black, they flare with possibility. Starlight arrives, bruised but defiant. She sees what Marie and the gang have done, stopping his master plan, and extends an offer: join the resistance. And then, in a moment that throws open the doors to the larger universe, A-Train arrives. He stands with Starlight in that moment, because in this world, resistance needs speed, it needs faith, and it needs supes who believe there's something worth fighting for. That union, the crossing of Gen V's new guard with the boys' surviving icons, is not a cameo. It's a declaration. The show is saying, Marie is not done, you're not done, the fight is just beginning.